I think way too much in my native language when I speak or try to speak English. Does this resonate? I know it does, because you're probably an ambitious, high-achieving professional that wants to capitalize on more career opportunities in English. But you cannot stop translating in your head. You think way too much in your native language, and I understand. That's one of the most common concerns that I hear among students and among professionals who want to master English. This video, I'm not going to explain only the why thinking in English makes you fluent, but also the how. So I'm going to provide with tips and exercises you can implement today so you can stop translating in your head and you can become more fluent in English. Stay tuned. Hello, it's me, Francisca from English to Thrive. You can follow me here on Instagram, and I'm so excited to be back. I know it's been weeks since I released a video, but to be honest, I was prioritizing me. Like, I was having me time, choosing rest, healing, and confidence building, and that's why I'm an English confidence mentor. So I'm back. Before I share anything on why thinking in English is so important, it is the base and the first step that you should keep in mind to become more confident and fluent in English. Subscribe, because I release videos every Friday on English confidence for ambitious, high-achieving professionals. Okay, here's the thing. The way you think is the way you act. So of course, if you have more thoughts in English, it's logical that you will speak more peacefully and easily in English, right? And so as a non-native English speaker myself, I am living proof that even without living in an English speaking country, you can speak English fluently and confidently. And well, I'm here in one of my favorite coffee shops, Kauka, in Guayaquil, the city where I live in, and yes, it is a non-English speaking city. So I've created systems for myself. So without living in an English speaking country, I still think in English and I still speak like this. So here's tip number 1. Now, first thing that you need to keep in mind to think more in English is to set up a system of immersion. Yes. So it's like warming up your brain. Just like when you go to a gym, you do a little warm up, right? So your muscles are more prepared for, like, you know, the exercises you're going to do. Is the same thing. So you need to set up an environment where you see English everywhere, so that makes you think more in English. So for example, nowadays we have so many things that we didn't have before: technology, social media. So you can easily reprogram your mind to see more English. In social media, when you're on Facebook, when you're on Instagram, follow native English speakers, follow role models that talk about confidence as well. So you can not only say English, but also build confidence within. And speaking about that, I have a program called the English Confidence Method, where you go from feeling frustrated, limited, to confident and fluent so that you can capitalize on career opportunities coming your way in English. So you want to check that out. I'll leave a link below. But yeah, so following native English speakers, subscribing to channels on YouTube like this one, or of native English speakers that are going to allow you to listen to more words in English, and then also changing your devices to English. If you have a cell phone, you have a smartphone, change it to English. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but then you're going to get used to seeing English and learning more words. And remember that immersion is all about choices as well. So next time that you watch a movie, make sure that you watch it in English, of course, and not in your native language. And then you put subtitles in English, so that even if you don't understand every word, you are warming up your brain and you're preparing your brain to think more in the language. Now, a little exercise that I would advise you to do to immerse yourself more in the language is to subscribe to Facebook groups. So for example, if you're a professional, if you're a data scientist, and one of my students inside my program is a data scientist, you can search for groups that talk about data science on Facebook. And the next time, you not only will subscribe, but you will read posts that talk about that. So that will not only prepare you to think more in English, but also prepare you professionally to learn more words, right, that are about your profession. What better than social media to get you to do that? Social media is something that you see all the time, and your cell phone is a device that you use all the time, so you'll see English all the time. Genius. Now, we've already talked about immersion as the first thing. The second thing is habit, and I have a few videos, and I'll leave the playlist below so that you can learn more about habit building in English. But habits are intentional activities that you do every single day that will prepare as well your brain and actually your whole lifestyle to think more in English. So for example, there's an important activity that I hear many professionals do all the time, even when they're working in their companies. They use Google Translator. And this is something that it may be a quick fix. So because of course you don't understand every single word, you're just go the easy way, the easy route, and then you go click Google Translator and then it translates. But the problem with this is that you're actually getting used to translating, and this will make you translate more in your head. So next time that you are in a meeting or you receive an email, don't go the easy way. Don't use Google Translator. You can use tools like Word Reference and Merriam-Webster to learn vocab as you go. So if you have a sentence, you will go to this tool Merriam-Webster and you will actually learn vocabulary. And it's very important that to populate more words in your brain in English, you use the English to English dictionary. Now, I know it may be uncomfortable because it's like you want the fast answer, right? So if you see a word that you don't understand, you're like I want to know the meaning of this word. But please be patient and go to Merriam-Webster and try and figure out the meaning by the definition in English. So this will make you think less in your native language when you think. Just by changing how you do this activity every single day, it's going to create a massive difference, because habit is what leads you to having results. So next time, don't use Google Translator, use a tool of like an English to English dictionary. And even if it takes you more time, you'll see that the more that you do it, it will become easier. And there's actually a really great habit that one of my students, last time that I spoke to her on one of my coaching calls, she said that she was even talking to herself in English, and this is amazing. I do this myself, and even when I am going through emotional pain, when I don't feel very well, because I'm always working on myself personally, I'm always working on myself on the internal part of confidence. I go ahead, and after I've had an emotionally uncomfortable experience, I record an audio in English on my cell phone. And so these activities that are very personal are going to change the whole game for you, and are going to make you think more in the language, because of course there are words that come from you. So if you talk to yourself, that's like an intimate activity, and this will not only ameliorate the relationship part and the connection part within yourself, but it's also going to make your thoughts more in English. And so we were laughing about it because she was saying, oh my god, now I listen to confidence affirmations, now I talk to myself. And a colleague of mine looks at me and tells me I'm crazy. So you can check it out in this comment right here. And these are the small activities and the small habits that will allow you to stop translating in your head and are going to accelerate fluency for you. Now, we've already talked about immersion through things that you see daily in your life. We've already talked about habits, daily intentional actions that are going to make you think more in English. Now, the third thing, and this is going to blow your mind, and actually to blow your mind is to surprise you, to make you feel like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. So third thing is, you see, when I was learning German, it's a language that I hope to continue to learn because it's very interesting. That's on my to-do list. So my professor told me, do not write things down in your notebook. And I was like, why? If I'm learning, I have to know things down, right? But no, he said that every time that you write words that you learn in your notebook, they stay in your notebook. So have you heard this phrase, like, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? Well, the same thing. What you write down in your notebook stays in your notebook. So instead of worrying about having notations of words and things that you're learning in your notebook, why don't you worry that they stay in your brain? So every time that you learn a new word, so in social media, when you read posts of native English speakers and you learn a new word, don't write it down, memorize it. Think about it. I've learned this new word, and associate it with a mental picture in your mind. right? So it stimulates your brain, and every time that you look at a word, you associate it with a graphic or a mind graphic or something that you can relate it to. But don't write it down, because that is going to stay in your notebook. So for example, when I was learning French as well, I am fluent in French, and I remember that I noted a lot of things down. I noted grammar, structures, and stuff. And I noticed how it made me feel overwhelmed, and it made me feel stressed to have all these notations, and it made language learning a lot less fun. And I'm not saying that you do not note things down. I'm not saying that you don't write anything. Of course, there are things, grammar structures that you have to know, that you have to memorize. But in order for your brain to think more in English, then you have to memorize stuff, right? So not only not writing things in your notebook, but also leveraging tools that are gonna make it easier for you to study. So I make my students, for example, inside my program, listen to classical music while they learn words, and I make them do a lot of confidence building, because the moment that you build your confidence, it makes you more proactive to be intentional about your daily activities. And when you're intentional, you're more present. When you're present, then you relax your mind, and it makes you more prone to learn better. So remember, do not write down in your notebook, memorize in your head, and you're gonna have loads of words that are gonna make you think more in English. The more words you have in your brain in English, you're gonna think more in English, and you're gonna become more fluent. You're gonna accelerate your fluency process. So before I reveal the last 2 reasons / tips on why thinking in English makes you more fluent, I want to know, have you ever felt frustrated because you think way too much in your native language, and that's making you less fluent, that's making you anxious every time you speak or try to speak English? Write it below and let me know how you feel emotionally, and let me know if it is something that you want to work on, because as I've said, in my method, this is the first thing that we cover. This is the base, making you think more in English so you can become more confident and fluent in the process. So the 4th tip is listening. Prioritize listening in English as much as you can. Now I know that if you work in your native language and if you live in a non-native English speaking country, it is more difficult to listen to English all the time, right? Because you have conversations with your family and your friends in your native language, but that doesn't mean that you cannot create systems for yourself to listen to English as much as you can. I'm living proof of it. Now, what you can leverage, podcasts on Spotify, right? I have students that tell me, oh my God, I'm listening to podcasts and I am implementing your technique, background listening. And yes, this is a technique that I talk more about it in this video right here, so you want to check it out. But background listening is something that I created because through the years, when I was growing up as a teenager and all the way to my 20s, I've always multitasked and listened to things in English, whether it's on YouTube or like on the radio or songs about my favorite artists. I've always prioritized music in English. And now it's funny because sometimes I know more English than Spanish. So this is, a little story of mine. My boyfriend, I'm in a relationship. It's a big step in my life that I gave myself the opportunity to capitalize on, let's say. He listens to a lot of music in Spanish. So it's been weird for me these last weeks to listen to music in Spanish, because when I was growing up, I always listened to more English than Spanish. So I always listened to songs, and even when I sang songs, it was easier for me to learn words in English than to learn the lyrics in Spanish. Now, in my city, they use a lot of slang in Spanish, and even now, I've lived in this city for so many years, and there are still phrases that my boyfriend says to me, and I'm like, what does that mean? What is this? And this goes to say that you can create a lot of surround sound, and that's a term that I've learned from one of my mentors. You can create a lot of surround sound and you can create a scenario for yourself that's in English, because if I've managed to not learn a lot of slang in Spanish while being here in a Spanish-speaking city, Spanish-speaking country, then that means that I've done a great job in creating systems in English for myself. So sound is so important. It is a huge element that's going to make you think more in English, and that's going to increase your fluency. And that is why, if you look at the screen now, I have a methodology, and that is why I always start with something that's called sound and stimulation. So you can stimulate your brain through background listening and other types of listening that I teach my students, like fun listening, intensive listening, and this will make you analyze more in English, analyze the structures, analyze the tone, analyze how native English speakers speak, because of course, if you want to speak like a native English speaker, you have to imitate a native English speaker. And it is amazing to see how you can be in any country in the world. For example, I have a student of mine that's from Romania, and she implemented the whole methodology to a T, and she left this comment. She left a comment like this: I'm thinking more in English, and that's something that I'd never done before. And that for me is amazing, because that shows how when you have the right tools and when you have the right methodology, you can create a base for yourself that's going to make you accelerate fluency and confidence even further. Now, how you can prioritize sound is you can watch interviews before you go to bed, and you can also even listen to affirmations and listen to audios while you sleep. Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but there are even audios in English that last like at 8 hours, and you can listen to that, so your subconscious can also absorb it. And there's actually no scientific evidence that supports that your brain is actually absorbing everything. But I'm a person that likes to try many things, and I know that when I've wanted to reprogram my brain to believing something of having thoughts of more confidence or more abundance, there are a lot of YouTube videos that you can listen to like during the night while you sleep, and it's worth a try. Why not? And you can also, of course, learn in English. Right? I know it can feel uncomfortable, because learning is such a big part, or it should be such a great part of your professional, personal development. Like me personally, I try and always learn from my mentors that are from Canada. They speak English, so of course I immerse myself with sound every single day, and that makes me grow so much. Not only it helps me cultivate my listening skills, but also it makes me grow personally, because I'm learning about confidence, I'm learning about sales, I'm learning about loads of skills. So if you want to think in English, listen to audios in English. What you listen to is what you think is what you become, it's your actions you take. It's just it's amazing. It's like one of the best realizations that I've had about English learning and about creating a reality for yourself is the sound and the whole environment that you create for yourself. Okay, so the last reason/tip: practice. Okay, practice makes perfect. And so if you want to think more in English to become more fluent, you have to practice. Okay, so there are exercises, and I'm not only talking about having one-on-one chats with someone that you met on Facebook, or like maybe you have a friend and you say, oh, let's speak in English. Okay, no, that's not enough. Okay, so I've created an exercise that's called method speaking. Okay, so how does this work? It sounds so weird, and it is a technique that I created because I started analyzing, right, about actors who stay in character, meaning that it doesn't matter if they are on set or not, if they're acting or not, they still think and speak and feel and act like their characters. So when they are on stage, if they're on theater, or when they're on set, they have a better performance. And this is fact, because Lady Gaga has done this. She talked about how every time that she answered the phone and she was in the middle of filming a movie, she answered as her character. and this made her obviously have a great performance because she did this on House of Gucci, right? It landed her a few awards, or maybe, well, not awards, but nominations. So it's a great technique. And so method acting became method speaking, and method I teach my students inside the English Confidence Method as well. And so what I tell them to do is, for a few minutes or a few hours every day, block your calendar and think as if you were a native English speaker. It doesn't matter if you have loads of vocabulary or not. It doesn't matter if you live in an English speaking country or not. Block off a few minutes and do not speak Spanish. And maybe you can tell your friends or your boss, your colleagues at your company, okay, I'm doing an immersive exercise. And even if you don't have loads of fluency yet, just think as if you are a native English speaker. So next time you watch a video, during that time, watch it in English, or think to yourself in English, or note down a few words in English. Just block off that time and pretend that you're a native English speaker. So that goes beyond only having one-to-one chats with people in English, right? So again, my students inside the English Confidence Method have implemented this, and this prepares them to become more fluent in English. It's amazing to see those results. And also I have case studies and testimonials below if you want to check it out. Now, shadowing is another exercise that makes you think so much in English, and it increases fluency so much. As you can see, another comment from one of my students as well. He improved his speaking skills from 10% or 40% to 80%. It's crazy how much this exercise is so effective. And how this exercise works is you listen to an audio and then you repeat it. So as you listen to it, you repeat the words. Right? And so it's challenging because you have to, do it fast, and you have to keep it up with the whole rhythm of a native English speaker. And this exercise is something that I learned as an interpreter myself. As you probably don't know, sometimes I work as an interpreter in events, and it's a crazy skill to cultivate because I have to listen to an audio in English, and that's just repeat it in the other language, in Spanish, right away, and if I don't do a great job, then communication with the speaker on the audience is not achieved. So it's a very important job, and shadowing is something that helped me prepare to improvise, to act more rapidly when I speak, and it's an exercise that can help you as well. Now, you can check out this video right here where I explain the whole technique and other tips on shadowing. And the last thing is a practice that you can do is to do some journaling. Now, on the comment that I talked about one of my students where she started to think more in English, it was because of this exercise as well, journaling. Journaling is a practice that has changed my life in so many ways. Now, there's not a day in which I don't journal, because first of all, it not only helps you to practice your writing skills in English, but also it helps you so much with confidence building, because journaling is all about you writing things that come from within and that make you explore parts of you that you haven't discovered yet. So for example, I have journal on prompts like, I deserve more money because, okay, and so you start thinking why you deserve more money, why you deserve to be more successful, whatever that means to you, and you start writing. It doesn't matter if you have all the words. It is a practice that will accelerate thinking in English as well, because as I said, there are words that come from within. Okay, you cannot fake those words. Those are authentic words. Or prompts like, and feel free to implement this now, when was the last time that I felt confident and why? And okay, so this, makes you think, makes you reflect, makes you grow personally, but also starts populating your brain with words that will make you think more in English. Okay, I know I've said this phrase lots of times, but thinking in English makes you feel so free, and that's something that I want for you. And so I hope that all these tips have helped you, and I hope that this can help you understand why having one-to-one conversations with someone is just not enough to grow in confidence. You have to do inner work. You have to show up for yourself. And again, if you want a plan and a methodology that can support you into achieving that, let's have a chat. It can be in Spanish, it can be in French, it can be in Portuguese, whatever language you want. Maybe not Chinese, I don't speak Chinese. And the last thing, I do want to invite you to download this free shadowing audio where you can practice. Remember, that was one of the techniques that we discussed in the last tip. It is challenging, it is a challenging practice, but again, you need a challenge to improve. The last thing, I really wanted to say that I know it can feel scary to want to see change. I know it can feel scary to apply to a coaching program. Maybe you've never been in a coaching program before, but think about how you feel now and how you may be limiting yourself to capitalizing opportunities coming your way. See, I have many professionals that come to me and say, I'm not saying yes to career opportunities because I feel anxious and because I feel like I cannot speak confidently and fluently. And so that is the real change that I want for you. I want you to just access a reality in which you can feel so confident and fluent. So if you're gonna access a post or job of leadership, but now you're feeling, I don't know if I'm confident enough, I don't know if I can converse easily, if I can speak easily with other colleagues, and that's stopping you from, you know, self-actualizing, from fulfilling your professional, personal potential, then it's time to make a change. And so again, link is below. Let's have a chat. And lastly, do not forget to subscribe. If you have enjoyed this video, give it a like so we can reach more high-achieving professionals that want to master English in the algorithm. And I suggest that you watch this video about 6 everyday habits that I do for personal and professional growth. That's gonna help you in your road to thinking more in English, to become more confident and fluent. And this playlist on sounding like a native English speaker. If you think more in English, you're gonna sound like one in no time. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.